Let me tell you a story about my toothache because listening to real stories in English is one of the best ways to learn vocabulary and grammar. Welcome to English Coach 3Ts. I'm Tanya, and 4 or 5 weeks ago, I started to feel a sensitivity in this back tooth, sensitive to cold and then sensitive to hot. But I didn't think that much of it because it was just a little sensitive and not really causing me any problems. Fast forward a couple of weeks, and I started to feel pain in this tooth, especially when I was eating something hot or cold. But as time progressed, the pain started to be really bothering me off and on. So I finally decided I need to go have this looked at. It's getting bad enough that I can't get anything done. So I went to see my dentist, and he was a little skeptical. He wasn't sure that it was the toothache. He thought maybe I had TMJ, which is something to do with your jaw versus your tooth. And so he sent me home and gave me a referral for a root canal. At the same time, Pippa started having trouble and was really swollen in her jaw and in her neck. And actually, on the same day, Tiana took her to the veterinarian when I went to the dentist. It turned out that they were able to find out what was going on with Pippa right away and give her a prescription, and she started feeling better very quickly. I, on the other hand, started to feel worse. During this time when it was hurting so badly, I had to cancel classes and cancel pretty much everything in my life because it was just too much for me. The good news is I'm back to teaching again, and I'm back to giving my free class for women with an intermediate to advanced level of English. If you'd like to join me to learn my 3 secrets on how to become fluent without wasting time and without doing things that don't work, click on the link you'll find in the description and you can sign up there for free. And before we came home that day, we decided I should go to the urgent care to have my ear looked at because the pain in my ear and my jaw and my tooth and my neck and my shoulders was almost unbearable, meaning I almost could not take the pain. So we went to the urgent care. Here in the United States, urgent care is something kind of between your doctor's office and the emergency room. When you need to go to a doctor but you can't get an appointment with your regular doctor, you can go to the urgent care. And you might go there if you have something that you need to have attention for, but it's after hours and your doctor is not working at that time, maybe the middle of the night, then you can go to the urgent care. The doctor in the urgent care took a look in my ear and said there was no infection that he could see, but he gave me a prescription for an antibiotic. Here in the United States, we have to have a prescription written by a doctor in order to get an antibiotic, which we have to get at a pharmacy. Nothing I was taking over the counter was helping. Over the counter drugs or medicine are things you can buy without a prescription. But taking this antibiotic prescription started helping the next day. The pain in my neck and my shoulders and my ears started to get a little better, but the pain in my tooth actually got worse, which, as it turned out, was because this tooth needed a root canal. It had an infection down in the roots, and that was causing so much pain that the pain was radiating out from that area, and the antibiotic helped to reduce the infection, which turned out to be a good thing because a couple of days later, maybe it was 3 or 4 days later, when I went down to the specialist, to get the root canal, he was able to do the work because the infection had been maybe not completely gone, but it was a little better. As soon as he gave me the root canal, I started to feel a lot better. And the reason I'm kind of chuckling about that is that a lot of people say that root canals are terrible. And for me, the root canal was one of the best things that had happened because the pain before the root canal was so bad. I literally couldn't work. I couldn't sleep. I could get nothing done. But even though the root canal was not fun, I guess you could say it's a little uncomfortable because I had to keep my mouth open for 2 hours. Even with all of that, I was so grateful to get the root canal because the pain was immediately alleviated. In other words, the pain went away immediately. That tooth was still a little tender, meaning if I bit on it, if I was chewing food and the chewing was happening near that tooth, it maybe was a little uncomfortable or tender. But now, a little over a week later, it feels great. I still have to go back next week for a permanent filling because what they did was this tooth had a cap on it and they drilled through the top of the cap down into the roots to do the root canal. And then they put a temporary filling in that tooth. And then next week I will get my permanent filling. A lot of what was going on for me with this is that I didn't have dental insurance. So I had to pay for all of this out of pocket. When we say we're paying for something out of pocket, it means that we're paying for it with our money versus the insurance contributing or paying for part or most of it. I'm telling you that by the time I got to the root canal and the pain was so bad and then alleviated, I was happy to pay for it because I literally, like I said, could not do anything before I got that root canal. I'm curious, have you ever had a root canal or dental work done that helped so much you were happy to get it done? What is it like to get dental work done in your country? Sometimes people ask me why listening to stories like this will help them to learn vocabulary and even grammar. There's kind of a lot that goes into that, but the basics are that when you're listening to things that you understand or you understand most of what is being said, your brain is remembering those things and finding patterns. In this way, you're learning vocabulary and the patterns that go along with grammar. If you're ready to learn even more vocabulary and grammar, I recommend you listen to this story next, and I'll see you there.